on CTV News at 5.
Soccer goals. Canada basks in the glow of an historic win at the World Cup.
Decided, well, if I'm going to talk the talk, I have to walk the walk or ride the ride.
And his reason to ride, a cancer survivor goes the extra mile for an important fundraiser.
Mostly a few clouds and fog patches tonight. We could have a couple of thunderstorms pop up tomorrow.
Live from the Maritimes News Center, this is CTV News at 5.
Good evening and welcome to CTV News at 5. I'm Maria Pano-Palace. Thank you for joining us. First at 5 tonight, history made. For the first time, Canada has earned a spot in the round of 16 at the World Cup. They entered the tournament 33rd, but have proven they can hold their own on the big stage. CTV's Brianne Foley looked into FIFA fever and the significance of this pivotal victory. Hi, Brianne.
Hi, Maria. Yes, it's going to become that question, where were you? Much like the golden goal by our very own Sidney Crosby back in 2010, this historic moment on the world stage brought Canada to its feet.
Time is often lost when it comes to history.
If all I have to do is get up at 5:30 in the morning for something like that to happen, I'll do it every day of the week.
Standing with the nation, more than just a proud father, Michael Schaffelberg is a proud Canadian soccer fan.
And for us to score in extra time, anybody in touching distance was hugged and kissed, and everyone is on their feet. And we all stayed on our feet for the last 5 minutes of the game, and certainly stayed on our feet for another 10 minutes afterwards while there were celebrations and the team came around.
An injured Team Canada entered this tournament, but that couldn't stop their momentum in LA.
The whole team was going at pace the last 25 minutes, and you just felt something was going to happen.
Felt in part thanks to Alphonso Davies hitting the pitch in his 2026 World Cup debut.
You could see as soon as he stepped on, the confidence he gave to the guys, and it's not that he has just recently been there. He belongs at that stage, so everybody played at his level. So, and the whole team responded to that.
A soccer nation growing by the day.
This has been sort of building up over the last 20, 30 years. You're getting Europeans or South Americans that are coming up to play in Canada, whereas before, which is elevating the game in Canada now, versus a lot of our better players always going to Europe or North and South America.
Regardless of the outcome of the next stage, FIFA fever is on fire.
But something like this is getting a lot of the younger generation talking about it, so we're getting a little bit more ownership towards it.
For them to be going up, say, against a Morocco or a Netherlands, you're not supposed to beat them. And in my opinion, that's a perfect position to be in because there's no pressure.
As you saw, Michael was there on grandpa duties, and he did tell me that that was just his opinion and not Jacob's. And Maria, in talking with Costa Ellis, he did attribute a lot of the growth of soccer to new immigrants over the last few years, as it is the world's game, saying, I saw a couple playing indoor soccer until 1 a.m. the other day, and that's got to tell you something, and I would tend to agree. Maria.
Oh, soccer fever is real. Thank you, Brianne. CTV's Brianne Foley for us in the news center this evening. All right, we'll head over to the anchor desk now where Todd Battis is standing by. Todd, it was a stand on your feet the last few minutes of that game moment, hey?
You know, and that goal does not happen without Jacob Schaffelberg.
No,
he
no,
makes
the rebound
things happen. He made the original shot at net where you get the rebound and then eventually the goals. So, you know, we'll say there was some maritime magic in that goal, of course. Maria, coming up at 6 o'clock, people may still be deciding to celebrate soccer or perhaps Canada Day with a barbecue. The season has certainly arrived with the weather that Kayla Mitchell will tell us about, but it is a costly one. New data shows the Maritimes has the highest meat prices in all of Canada. Pork and chicken top the list. Ground beef not far behind. More on the contributing factors to why we pay more for meat that hits the grill coming up at 6 o'clock. No arrests have been made yet following a murder in Dartmouth Friday night. Halifax Regional Police say 39-year-old Thomas Jr. Downey of North Preston was the victim in this case. Investigators say the shooting was not a random act, and we will get details from the scene tonight at 6 o'clock. Some tense moments Friday night. An F0 tornado is thought to have touched down in southern New Brunswick on the weekend. Environment Canada still investigating, but one Canadian university says it was the real deal. In fact, New Brunswick has seen more twisters than any other maritime province over the past decade. We will get more at 6 o'clock. Gee, Kayla Mitchell, it's a lot of weather in the forecast tonight, and you certainly have a lot to talk about and some big numbers behind you.
Yeah, that's right. So when Todd's referring to the numbers in behind me, it's referring to current temperatures around the Maritimes, and we are feeling a bit of summer heat in parts of the region, especially in the province of New Brunswick, where we just saw some video potentially of that brief tornado that would have been from Friday and around the southeast of New Brunswick. But temperatures right now, you can see mostly up in the high 20s there, though a little bit more moderate on some parts of the coast, so Grand Manan sitting closer to 25 degrees. Temperatures in Prince Edward Island, not bad. We got 22 right now at Charlottetown and Summerside. It's maybe a little bit cool for some people's likings in Cape Breton with 18 at Shetty Camp and 19 at Sydney right now. It's 20 at Eskasoni. They've had a couple pop-up showers and a few small thunderstorms right in the interior of Cape Breton today. Mainland Nova Scotia, away from the Atlantic coastline, some temperatures in the mid-20s, and then on the Atlantic coastline, high teens, low 20s. Taking a look at winds, variable in direction, pretty light, being sustained between about 5 and 10 kilometers per hour. Over on radar and satellite, seeing still a good deal of sunshine across much of the region at this hour. A little pop-up shower there in the interior of Cape Breton. A couple pop-up showers just around the Acadian Peninsula in New Brunswick. Chance of a thunderstorm with those, and one solitary little thunderstorm that's popped up in the northwest. No severe thunderstorm watches or warnings at this point. I will have more on the weather coming up later on. Maria.
Thank you very much, Kaylin. Right now, though, Canada's population is shrinking with fewer newcomers arriving. CTV's Maria Saru looks at the impact it's having on our smallest province.
It's a beef korma, we call.
A lot has changed since Saeed Akbar Sadat came to PEI as a refugee from Afghanistan in 2007.
Different culture, different food, different people. It's amazing.
And after nearly 2 decades building a life on the island,
feel like home.
It's a feeling that rippled through Charlottetown's waterfront for diverse city.
I like it because you get to know a little bit about each culture.
The Summer Festival is a celebration of how newcomers have reshaped and added to PEI across 7 communities.
We feel the sense of belonging. We are so proud to show our traditional culture.
It's exactly our second home, so we really love it here and want to contribute Canada here, and then want to do more things to support the community here.
But after years of rapid growth, the trend is turning.
It's certainly put on a different set of pressures. We hear from employers there is a need, especially in certain fields, a need for workers, a need for population in rural areas in order to sustain those services.
PEI's population has dropped for 3 straight quarters, and in the first 3 months of this year, permanent immigration to the island was down 23% from the same time last year. But that slowdown stretches well beyond the island. Across Canada, the population fell by about 55,000 people in the first quarter of the year. That decline was driven largely by fewer people with temporary status, including international students, work permit holders, and asylum claimants.
It's starting to have a trickle-down effect economically.
Charlottetown's mayor says smaller communities across the Atlantic provinces rely on newcomers to fill jobs.
I always see that our doors should be wide open.
Earlier, dozens of new Canadians were sworn in here, a sign that even as the numbers shift, the island is still making room for who comes next. Maria Saru, CTV News, Charlottetown.
Thank you, Maria. Time for our first break here on CTV News at 5. When we come back, though, cheers to 50 years.
I was brought up here in Sydney. It's like a homecoming every time I come down here.
Half a century, and they're still swinging for the fences, celebrating the Sydney Sooners. Next. Welcome back. Nova Scotia's Boys of Summer mark a special anniversary. It's the 50th year for both the Nova Scotia Senior Baseball League and for some of its charter teams. CTV's Ryan McDonald swung by the ballpark for this story.
From the sausages on the grill to the bat hitting the ball, the sounds and sights of senior baseball were back at the Susan McCacker Memorial Ballpark in Sydney this weekend for the league's and the home team's 50th anniversary season.
1977, I was one of the
original 20 ball players that were on the team.
Sydney Sooners manager Jim Rico McEachern has been around since day one. He's one of the last people standing who helped this league get off the ground a half-century ago, and says what keeps him coming back to the ballpark year after year is simply the love of the game.
6 years ago, our 44th season, I stated to the complement of that team, guys, I'm going to try something that I think might be impossible. I'm going to try to be around here for the 50th season. I'm here today. I don't know how much more I got in the tank.
You come all the way from St. Peter's to Sydney for these games?
All the time, yeah.
That's an hour-long drive each way, but Robert Morrison has been making the trip for about 20 years to take his seat behind home plate.
I was brought up here in Sydney. It's like a homecoming every time I come down here.
I think this is an incredible milestone for this league.
The head of the Nova Scotia Sport Hall of Fame says this big anniversary makes him think of founding fathers like Rico McEachern in Sydney and the Van Blarcom brothers in Kentville.
Both teams were there, by the way, on day one and are still here to this day. They paved a way for great baseball players in this province to keep playing after junior, and for years the competition has been superb.
Back at the ballpark in Sydney, which for more than 30 years has been named for Rico McEachern's late wife, his plan from here on in is to take things one season at a time.
I'd love to stay around until, as you say, they put me in the grave, but there's good people ready, I think, to jump in.
For now, it's simply cheers to 50 years and a nod to players and fans, past and present. Ryan McDonald, CTV News, Sydney.
Thank you, Ryan. Yes, cheers to 50 years and
Absolutely.
to 50 more and beyond.
Big
Indeed.
marker.
A nice day to play baseball, a nice day maybe to get out and enjoy the pleasantry.
You know what this show needs? It needs some fiddle music.
Ooh.
So here we go. We've got Luke Norton on the boardwalk in Halifax this morning, and this tune is called Fingal's Cave. Let's listen to it, and I'll have more in the forecast next.
Where the weather is concerned the last couple of weeks.
Yes.
That might be an understatement even. But today, full marks, a beautiful summer day.
Yeah, I mean, for some parts of the Maritimes, there was some cloud cover that hung on first thing in the morning. Halifax was one of those areas. We saw some cloudy conditions behind that fiddler just before the break. But it did sort of clear up to some sunny breaks and then basically some mostly sunny conditions as we went through the afternoon. Weather conditions over the next couple of days in the Maritimes, so they're going to be a little bit interesting. But we're looking at a beautiful sunset here. This is from Walton, Nova Scotia, so looking out at the Minas Basin. Spectacular as we take a look at our sunrise and sunset times. Now, as I was talking about, conditions in the Maritimes, a little bit interesting here over the next couple of days, because generally speaking, for many of the next several days, we are going to have some very warm and some somewhat humid air down on the surface of the Maritimes. We're going to be feeling that. It's going to feel like summer-like conditions for many parts of the region. But above us, there's a little bit of cooler, drier air, and that means that on many days coming up, there's going to be at least a chance of a pop-up shower or thunderstorm afternoon into early evening, just basically driven by that daytime heating, by that warmer, humid air at the surface wanting to rise up through that cooler and drier air sitting above us. Now, those type of pop-up showers and thunderstorms, most cases are going to be widely scattered in the region. So in a lot of cases, it's like a 20 or 30% chance day by day, but those chances are going to be there. So a lot of heat building up over the next few days in through the eastern United States. We're going to be feeling some of that in the Maritimes, so not the full brunt of it. I mentioned the pop-up showers and thunderstorms. We've got a couple of those on the go this evening. There were a few today that kind of bubbled up in the interior of Cape Breton, but now at this hour, we've got one small little thunderstorm that just popped up to the south of San Quentin and continues to drift southward towards the 108. And then for our viewers on the Quebec side, in the Gaspé Peninsula, they have been dealing with some showers and some thunderstorms, and that type of action could be around for the next couple of hours before it gradually diminishes as we make our way through this evening, and tonight we lose that daytime heating. Miramichi has just seen a little shower pop up pretty close to them. It's entirely possible that could produce a rumble of thunder here over the next hour and a bit. But like I said, it's being driven by daytime heating. So as we head through this evening and tonight, that's going to be coming to an end. During the overnight hours, there'll be a few clouds around, some fog patches, and a low chance of a shower for Prince Edward Island and parts of the north and east of Nova Scotia. Now for tomorrow, Prince Edward Island will have a chance of a shower or possibly a small thunderstorm first thing in the morning. After that, as we make our way into the afternoon for the Maritimes, the chance of a pop-up shower or thunderstorm returns to the province of New Brunswick, as well as some central and eastern areas of Nova Scotia. Winds in the forecast coming up for Tuesday are going to be pretty light by our standards here in the Maritimes. Mostly sustained 10 to 20 kilometers per hour with some gusts between 20 and 30. They are going to be changing direction throughout the day, eventually towards the end of the day for many parts of the Maritimes becoming more south and southwest. Low temperatures in the forecast for tonight for the region will be falling into a range of around 11 to 15 degrees, but there is a little bit of mugginess in the air. And then in the forecast for tomorrow, high temperatures once again away from the coast, expected to be up to the mid to high 20s. Some coastal areas and parts of Prince Edward Island and a few parts of the east of Nova Scotia, temperatures a little bit more moderate, high teens and low 20s. Want to outlook into the forecast for Wednesday, Canada Day. First thing in the morning, there's going to be some fog and some scattered showers around the Maritimes. And then for Wednesday afternoon, the coverage of those showers becomes more spotty. Temperatures do cool off a little bit, though, so a lot of highs on Wednesday will be around the low to mid-20s, except high teens on parts of the coast. All right, let's take a look at our weather watcher for tonight. And tonight's weather watcher is coming in from 8-year-old Sophie from Brookside Elementary. And Sophie has sent us a drawing of an Easter egg hunt. So we're going back a couple of months, but thank you, Sophie. Great job. Weather watchers anytime can come into CTV Weather Watchers, P.O. Box 1653, Halifax, Nova Scotia, B3J2Z4, or email kaylin.mitchell@bellmedia.ca. Maria.
Thank you, Kaylin. So the 5th Canadian Division is standing down as a part of ongoing Canadian Army modernization initiatives. But as CTV's Brianne Foley shows us, pride for the historic division will carry on in Atlantic Canada. Obviously, we're having some technical issues. We'll have that story for you right after this break. Stay with us. CTV News at 5. We'll be right back.
Hi.
Welcome back. Here's that story we promised before the break.
A sunset ceremony on the 5th Division was held in Halifax on Saturday.
Doing it here in Halifax and at Emera Oval represents our history and heritage. This is where soldiers stood guard of Halifax, and so it's fitting for us to come back here one last time as a division.
One of 4 divisions that are regionally based will be made into 3 divisions focused on mission, task, and purpose.
This isn't the first time that we've retired the division or that we've taken them off the active order of battle. The reason that we're standing them down now is because we are reestablishing the Army the way that we need to be set up for the defense of Canada, to be a reliable and credible partner around the world.
Where the rules-based international order has ruptured, and Canada must rapidly rebuild and rearm its armed forces.
Changing to adapt to the world of today.
For the Canadian Army, we're in the midst of a modernization effort where it's all about bringing in new people, some pretty exciting capabilities, and making sure that we have the right structure for the missions of today and tomorrow.
It's part of our life. It should be. Most definitely. I advise anyone to get into it. There's a bright future for anyone that joins the military.
Brigadier General Mark Parsons, the commander of the 5th Canadian Division. Salute, General Presente! Ah!
Without forgetting where they came from.
I feel pride, happiness, and I'm glad to have been a part of it and to help support local Canadians around me in my role as a reservist.
Pride in the soldiers that were on parade, pride in the accomplishments that we've had over not only the past 2 years, but for the last 13 years that the 5th Canadian Division has been here in Halifax and throughout the Atlantic provinces, but also a personal pride for the successes that we've seen on domestic operations.
Brianne Foley, CTV News, Halifax.
Thank you, Brianne. Our final story now. For more than 6 decades, Joseph Robichaud has refused to let cancer define him. Now, as CTV's Hafsa Arif reports, the cancer survivor is preparing for one of his biggest challenges yet.
When Joseph Robichaud gets on his bike, it's more than a training session. Every ride has a purpose.
62 years ago, I had cancer, osteosarcoma, and one of the things I couldn't do was ride a bike again.
As a child, cancer led to the loss of Joseph's leg. He spent years watching his brother and friends ride, believing those days were behind him.
Something I desperately wanted to do after I recovered was to ride a bike again. Because my brother and our buddies would be out riding their bikes, and I couldn't be with them.
Decades later, Joseph found another path.
I decided about 10 years ago that I want to ride a bike. So I looked into these recumbent arm bikes, and it's exactly what I needed.
That decision wasn't just for himself. He first went cycling to help raise money for children who need adaptive bikes.
I don't have a disability. It's a challenge, but it's not a disability. Then I decided, well, if I'm going to talk the talk, I have to walk the walk or ride the ride.
Now he's training several times a week for a new goal, the BMO Ride for Cancer.
I'll be riding 50 kilometers, and it's about cancer care.
But Joseph says this challenge isn't really about distance. It's about helping others through their own battles.
There's so much motivation to make it happen and to do it and be part of something bigger than one's self.
After everything he's overcome, the message to anyone facing a challenge is remarkably simple.
Never stop, always find a way, never play. The only limits, as I said, the only limits are the ones we place on ourselves. So never place a limit on yourself.
For Joseph Robichaud, every kilometer is proof the dream he lost as a child eventually found its way back. Hafsa Arif, CTV News, Cole Harbour.
Joseph, you are so inspiring. And listen, if you want to help, Joseph hopes to raise $5,000 for cancer care before the October ride, something Maritimers can do on the BMO Ride for Cancer website. Just look for Joseph Robichaud, who is riding in Nova Scotia.
We are rooting for you, and we hope you have a smooth ride.
Yeah, and we're hoping for good weather in October, too. Let's say it, right?
Yeah, that's a bit
riding
far
weather,
out, my forecast, but coming up, all the extended forecast, including more on Canada Day.
Thanks for watching, everyone. The national news is next. Good night.